My shirt has chocolate on it. Typical for me. I want to be raw and authentic, so I knew I was supposed to share this with you in case you felt the pain of never fitting in. And it is painful, no doubt. But I hope this will encourage you. Firstly, that you're not alone. And second, that it's by design. And it's actually a positive. When I was 8 years old, I was incredibly popular with my classmates. I remember freely speaking and saying what I wanted to say. Everybody thought I was the best drawer in the class, so I would draw pictures for people. I definitely had pushback with teachers and stuff like that, but my peers loved me, and I remember loving them back. And then we had to move away. And I was probably about 9, moved to a new school. We didn't have money. My dad lost his job. That's why we had to move. And we went to somebody's cabin because it was free. My sister and I shared the living room there. And we had a curtain that we would pull around our beds. We have a 4.5-year difference between us. But that year, I remember my sister was my best friend and actually saved me in a lot of ways from what was happening to me, which was I was being bullied in school. I didn't have the right clothes. I was immature, so they said. I was really shy, scared of the kids, because they seemed very mature for 10. I had a couple of friends that we would play at recess and we would make up imaginary games, and yeah, I got bullied for being immature. I loved my imagination. I went in there a lot. I knew I was different than the other kids. And I definitely didn't want to date any boys. That was not popular also. It sucked. The whole year sucked. I got bullied on the bus every day. And frequently in gym class, they would throw a volleyball at my head. So to this day, I still do not want to play volleyball, so don't ask me. And also just this girl, Linda, was really mean, and she sat on my desk one day and she said, "Do you know you're really immature and you're stupid and you sound like a baby?" And I just put my head down, and I don't know if I said anything back or if I just agreed with her, whatever I could do to get her off my desk. But that was one of the moments that solidified to me that the world does not like you, Elise. My name back then actually was Heather. I changed my name later on. But I was a loner that year because I lost all my friends from my old school. So I would frequently play in like a sandy patch by the lake that we lived on. And with my sister, we would laugh and we would listen to music. Back then, that was 1989. And I remember obviously loving New Kids on the Block. Also Def Leppard, and I had various tastes because my sister was older and cool to me. She was awesome. That helped me a lot, having her around. But that year was really hard for me. We moved the next year to a very small, isolated town in Northern Ontario. And I was bracing for the impact of the kids not liking me there either. But I did make some friends. But I still had my guard up, and my nervous system was bracing all the time. And I did very poorly in school. I also didn't know that I had ADHD, and I didn't understand why I couldn't do my homework. So that was rough, and there were a lot of parent-teacher interviews, and what are they going to do with her? But anyway, I digress. Over the years of elementary and then high school, I had moments of thinking or feeling like I fit in, but mostly I was on the outside looking in. It was very painful. I had this friend and she had this older sister, and I was obsessed with her because her older sister was like so charismatic and could sing and play guitar and just looked so beautiful, and I felt ugly and a loser and obviously immature and shy. I wasn't any of those things that her older sister was. So it was incredibly painful when that friend told me one day that her older sister wanted her to have cooler friends. Oops. So yeah, I got that reinforced a lot over the years that I didn't get the memo. I couldn't see the cheat sheet of how to fit in, and I wasn't supposed to see it, I guess. I mean, I know that now, but it was incredibly painful. And I've had that narrative my entire life of broken, never good enough, failure, outsider, reject, loser. So where I didn't get bullied anymore, I internalized that bullying. And only recently have I learned that it was by design. This is why I love spirituality, because there's a whole other layer that the human doesn't see when it's ensconced in the pain and the story of what it is known its whole life. My soul wrote the script for me. My soul chose this life, these parents, these situations to reinforce these beliefs that were not serving me so that I could wake up and learn that it was by design, that nothing was wrong with me, nothing ever has been wrong with me. It was just the character in the story. And so if you feel the same as me, or you've had experiences where you didn't fit in, or you've failed in many different ways that I have, and it wasn't just people that didn't like me, it was jobs that I got fired from, it was times I was almost expelled from school, it was, I'll say, questionable decision making. If you have these stories that you still carry with you and they don't feel good, just know it was by design. This is the character you have been, but you, your higher self, you are the playwright, and you can have a different story anytime you want to. And just understand this, by never fitting in, you would not know what it feels like to have such pain, because on the other side, we don't know that. All we know is love and light and unity. And here on Earth, the toughest planet, this is where we learn what it's like to be entrenched. So these are valuable soul lessons, but you don't have to stay there, and you're not supposed to. So if you felt moved to click on this video and listen, and you're still here listening to me now, then this resonates deeply with you, that you no longer have to live with this painful story. You can see it in the third person, as in, look how hard she's worked to try to fit in, and she never could. Wow, that was created by me, by my multidimensional self that needs to experience this in order to have empathy for others who struggle and grow and expand and have that kind of compassion that we need as our earth is shifting. And more people right now are being tested on the planet. And those people who have never been through those very anxious times and frightening times, and those people are experiencing that now. And those of us who've always struggled are now finding a better and new way of being, to be more resilient and to really come home to ourselves, to our truth of who we really are, to help others see that too. And so I can honestly say, although it was painful, I have gratitude for what I have been through, because I would not be as loving, as caring, and as sensitive as I am to other people. And I can also turn that inward. I can feel the bullying happen inside of me by an old part that wants to keep me back into the familiar. And I can hold that part even with compassion and separate from it. Because, my friends, You are not broken. You are not a failure. You are on purpose. You are by design. And you get to create an entirely new story, an entirely new timeline. Peace and love.